Oren, it's been a while since I read your book, but it's some really fascinating ways in which you approach the whole psychology of the pitch. And you mentioned the croc brain in your book, and how basically how primal we are as beings, and how we revert back to our crocodile brain when dealing with challenging issues. Can you maybe explain that a little bit to our audience?
Well, sure. I can put a little context. So, as I said in the book, and I've raised now between Jack and I a couple $1 billion at the time I wrote the book, for $500 million by looking in the whites of investors' eyes. Look, at Goldman Sachs, right? They raised $400 million in an afternoon, but that's a 30-person team working on some kind of Goldman Sachs infrastructure fund. There's not one individual guy there that sits down across from a billionaire, from a fund, from a family office, and says, here's the deal, give me money. So I've said hundreds of times, write me a check for $15 million today, otherwise I'm taking this deal somewhere else, we're going to do it with another group. The time is of the essence. Okay, so I've raised the money directly. Now, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Early in my career, it was very unpredictable. And I hired a cognitive psychologist to review the ones that worked, the pitches that worked, and the ones that didn't. And I said, tell me what's going on. Why on some days am I great, and other days, exact same pitch, seemingly the same buyers, I'm terrible. It doesn't make sense. And so we looked at it, and he came back and he said, here's my conclusion. You have a fundamental misunderstanding of how the human brain is constructed, not how the mind works and the psychology of the mind. You're good at that. Like, you're good at selling people, and you make these nice narratives, and you have a nice smile, and the girls love you and everything like that. But I can't help it. But you don't understand how information not in the mind gets into the brain physically. So you think like you're a fax machine, right? And you're faxing Chris's mind the information about the deal. And Chris's fax machine goes, oh, it's class 3 fax machine handshake, and it goes and gets all this information, and the two fax machines are talking to each other, and there's this clear information exchange. Not how it works, right? You transmit words, language, math, information, details, problem solving from your neocortex. That's this frontal neocortex part of the brain. And it's smart, it's linguistic, it's problem solving, it can do math. You couldn't figure out which office to go to, what job to do, where to go to school, who to love, without the neocortex, right? But it is the last part of the brain that gets information because it consumes a massive amount of energy. If everything entered your neocortex, sunlight and the dog barking and the cars crossing the road and policemen whistling and a helicopter overhead and rustling in the bushes and people yelling at you, if everything entered the neocortex, you would shut down. It is problem solving, right? So information comes up through what is the brain stem, and that's the crocodile brain. It is very simplistic. It goes, when it meets something, when it meets you, it goes, do I want to eat it? Do I want to kill it? Or do I want to mate with it, right? Those are the 3 questions. So you're going, let me make this practical, right? And we can read the chapter of the book. I can't read you the chapter. It's as well written as it can be in there, but let me make this practical. So you go, hey guys, I'd love to talk to you about Acme ball bearings. We manufacture a Kevlar-coated ball bearing that spins at a very high heat rate. Over 180,000 RPM, does not even get it above 72 degrees. And for this reason, the cycle time is 5 times longer in heavy manufacturing equipment, right? So you lead off with that, and the mind of the executive sitting across from you goes, is this something I should eat? Boom! That is a mismatch in information. So the way information gets into the brain is very, very simplistic, and it lights information in certain ways, okay? And this will resonate with you. It likes it fast. It likes it visual, because the visual pipes into the human mind are 50 times wider than the auditory pipes, right? So fast, simple, and visual. And that's a clear audit Now, yeah, eventually you're going to get to heat temperature ranges. Once and spin cycles and customers and costs and ROI. But at the beginning, too much detail, too fast, without context, the primitive filters of the human mind go, I can't eat this. I can't make love to it. I can't have a child with it. And I can't kill it. So I don't need to deal with it. Right? And that, once you understand how you need to ascend through the human really brain structure in order to get to the neocortex, things will get a lot better for you, right? Is that an easy way of saying, hey, start simply and get more complex? No. What you have to understand is how information needs to get organized to come in through the neocortex, right? And then it goes up through the midbrain, which is the next thing, which has nothing to do with information. The midbrain understands social situations. So hear me out. Even if you give the information simple, fast, novel, right, and clear, then it comes up to the midbrain and goes, what's the status of the person giving me this information? Oh, the janitor at Microsoft is telling me about nuclear physics propulsion for a attack submarine. And the status part of the social part of the brain goes, it's not credible, right? And so I reject the information. So novel information, fast, visual, from a high status position, then you earn your way into the neocortex and give your pitch. So,
well, it's great because,
all right, long answer for short question, but that's what I was told by the cognitive psychologist, and then I put that into practice, and boom, it just turned me into a Terminator mercenary Decepticon